The Elements of Harmony and Savior of Worlds by RK Striker JK5. Chapter 18. Celestia looked up at Spycoron as he cupped a dozen plates of food on his hand. She spread her wings and floated up into the sky, gliding on air and light. She came to the level of his head and looked him in his reptilian eye. Having fun? Spycoron tilted his head back and cupped his hand over his mouth, swallowing the entire mass whole. He looked at Celestia and mumbled,
Indeed I am, but I doubt that's why you flew up to see me.
He leaned forward, smoke drifting up from his nostrils.
Dragos Nest, the egg where you found was young Spike, and he is my grandson.
Celestia closed her eyes for a moment before speaking. I should have known. The coloration was too close for a mere coincidence. Her eyes opened again. When I found the egg, I sent an inquiry to the heads about it, but no one claimed it. She hugged her head. And now I remember you were enraged with grief and leading hunting parties against the Ursai. Oh, sweetheart, I am such a fool!
Spycoron shook his massive head. No, I was mad with grief and rage at the time. I know I would not have listened. Besides, he seems to have found a good home, at least.
He looked down at Spike as he hovered close to Twilight.
So, she heads for an entrance exam?
A low rumbling came from his gut.
She's stronger than she looks.
Celestia grinned. She's the element of magic for a reason, old friend. Although, I think she got a little boost from a future friend of hers. She waved him off as he opened his mouth. Long story, I'll tell you later. She looked around, and her horn ignited. Wait, I think I sense... Yes! She grinned. Queen Rosedust has decided to come after all.
Spycoron rundled again, chuckling. He raised a claw and raked her off. Go, my old friend. An even older friend awaits you. Tell her I said hi, too.
Celestia grinned and nodded before her horn glowed. There was a bright flash of light from it. She vanished. Queen Rosedust looked up at the sign sticking out of the ground and sighed. Oh, finally, Ponyville. She groaned lightly and looked back at her translucent wings. She waggled them gingerly and whisked. I should definitely get out more. Sparkly Dot trotted up beside her, smiling. Oh, it did do us a bit of good to get out of Flare Valley. He bent his legs and knelt before popping back up, repeating the motion. He looked back at Blazing Day as he stood by Morning Glory.
How is she?
Blazing Day sidled up to his mother.
She was all right in flight when we were by her side, but now
she's back to normal. He hung his head. She almost talked a few times, Dad. Rhoda sighed. I hope... There was a sudden flash of light cutting her off, sending her backpedaling. She looked up at Celestia, and a clothes-wearing biped appeared. Celestia, who is... Her eyes widened in recognition, said in, Megan?
Megan waved her arms.
I don't believe it! She trailed off before looking around, blinking. Celestia, where are we? She looked down at Rosedust and her jaws dropped. Queen Rosedust! She ducked low, curtsing. Look at all my aces like. Blazing Day trotted up to Rosedust's side.
Megan?
He carried her around here. By the Sunstone, it is you.
He bucked back and forth. Megan!
It's me! Blazing Day! Megan twirled about, her dress twisting around her body as she followed the cult. Blazing Day? Eisen! Her gaze drifted to Rosedust's side, a sparkling dot next to her, then farther back to Morning Glory. She stepped around the two flare ponies in front and ran over to Morning Glory, dropping down to her knees in front of the great pony. Morning Glory? Good Lord, what happened to you? She shouted. She grabbed Morning Glory by the shoulder with one hand and took her chin with the other, tilting her head so she stared straight ahead. Splice away, Morning Glory! Blazing Day, a sparkling dog, walked over, father and son hanging heads. She might say a word or two, Sparkling Dawn said, standing by his wife. But that's about it. Discord mentally tortured her for nearly a week straight. I tried to do something, but my own wings were turned against me. Tears fell from his eyes as he tossed his head back, whinnying.
I couldn't do anything for her when she needed me the most!
Blazing Day grunted. I was barely a colt and still young in the Flare Valley, he said, glancing out to the side, focusing on a patch of grass in the distance. If it was out there. Sparkling Dawn raised a foreleg. It patted his son on the shoulder. The Discord would have ripped you apart.
I told you to stay in Flutter Valley for your own safety.
Megan cleared her throat, gaining their attention. So, what's been done to help Maureen Glory? Has there been therapy or some sort of... She waved her hands around as he thought, I don't know, some telepathic contact with her? She looked back to Maureen Glory. Are the golden horses still around? Maybe we could use those. She stood up, grunting slightly as her knees popped. Celestia, where's Mimic's descendants? She asked, looking at the unicorn. Celestia pursed her lips and shook her head. An excellent idea, but they were lost about, 1,000 years ago. She tilted her head to the side and looked at Rose Dust. Although, how they were lost is a story for another time. Wouldn't you agree? Rose Dust nodded. She turned around and looked at Megan, sparkling Dawn and his family. She let out a breath through her nose. We isolated ourselves after Discord's separations, and Flare ponies have no telepathic powers. She groaned. I've been a fool for so long. I've kept her away from those who could have helped her the most. She sighed, tossing her head back. Megan looked past her to Celestia. Is there something you could do, Celestia? Or any of the ponies? She looked back down at Maureen Glory and reached out, stroking her mane. Can I do anything to help her? Celestia took a few steps forward, leaning down and nuzzling Maureen Glory. The discordant flare pony shivered slightly, but otherwise remained unresponsive. Megan, why don't you take Morning Glory, Sparkling Dawn, Blazing Day, and Ponyville to the party? She turned her head and met Megan's gaze. Perhaps you could introduce them to Twilight Sparkle. Megan met Celestia's gaze and slowly nodded. Good idea. She motioned them down the road and began walking, leading the three flutter ponies along the road into town. So, Blazing Day, looks like you're going through a bit of a ghost spurt. Celestia and Rose Dust watched as they walked off. Twilight is one of the most powerful unicorns I've ever seen, she said. She's almost up to Star Sword's level, and she's got so far to go. Rose Dust's muzzles twitched. So long as she doesn't decide mustache spells are the way to go, we should be fine then. She barked a short laugh, but it quickly died in her throat. Celestia, I'm sorry. She plodded on before the princess could respond. I'm sorry for the waste of 1,300 years, for shunning every attempt you made, and for isolating the flutter ponies and the swarm inside, and for not helping with Nightmare Moon, and I've been such a fool! She stomped her hose on the ground, and wings flared. So much wasted time, and for what? For me being such a star-sided fool! She looked up at Celestia, tears in her eyes. Can you forgive me? Celestia observed her for a moment, walking up to her. She leaned her head and neck down and nuzzled Rose Dust. And I'm sorry for not trying harder, for giving up. I'm sorry for losing my temper 2 days ago and for not seeing your side of the story. She paused and took a deep breath. Can you forgive me? Rose Dust snorted. She craned her head and turned to nuzzle, moving past and leaning against Celestia's neck in an equestrian hug. I think I can, old friend. She broke the contact and looked down the road as Megan and the others walked further along. So, a party for her. She deserves it. Celestia giggled. Bolly and Danny are there, too. She turned and began walking off, Rose Dust by her side. Married, too. Nice man named Mike. They have 2 daughters. Celestia slowly bit her lip. I think the younger one wants to brush the mane and tail of every pony in Equestria. Mike wandered around, mug of cider in hand. He took a sip from it and went silently.
Ugh, a little more cake than usual,
he exclaimed, holding the mug up and looking at the amber liquid. He looked down at as Applejack tried up, mug balanced on her head, hat pushed back and plate of food on her back.
How did you do that?
Applejack reached up and slid a foreleg around the mug's handle, bending at the elbow and pulling it off. She leaned her head forward, letting the hat tilt forward into its proper place. She took a gulp and looked up at Mike. Do what, Slicker Cape? Mike opened his mouth, but waved himself off. Ugh.
Never mind, Applejack.
He looked down and focused on Big Macintosh as the stallion stood by Caramel, Blues, and another earth pony, a mare. He looked back down at Applejack as Macintosh looked over.
He's looked at Fluttershy about 2 times since he's arrived at the party,
Mike said. He knelt down slightly.
So, we're on the same wavelength?
Applejack chuckled. I'll reckon it, Mike. She looked around, focusing on Fluttershy as she and Dash moved about, the former on the ground, and looking up at the air as the sea floated in the air. I think you're thinking the same thing, Mike. Macintosh and Fluttershy have been friends for a bit. but neither one of those made that first try. She shook her head. Ugh. Both those need a push in the right direction. She smirked. So, what do you think? Mike shrugged. I've never been much one for matchmaking. He rolled his eyes. Danny was the one who set me up with Megan. I was just a shy teen who liked shop class a bit too much back in high school. He lowered himself to the ground and sat, cracking his neck. Ugh, much better. Applejack looked him over. All two legs? Must be pretty sore after a while. Mike looked the Earth pony over, held up his hand and waggled his fingers. There are benefits, you know. Applejack rolled her eyes. Just like these there. She hesitated before continuing. Ah, listen, I'm not one usually to ask for favors, but do you all have any time to come back to Sleep Apple Acres for this wheel on the cart? I'll pay you kindly for the work. Mike eyed her before waving her off. Play me, Applejack? No need. He rose to his feet and looked around, squinting. I'll just get Twilight to bring me over tomorrow. Now, where is she? Good Lord, y'all played together into a Technicolor swirl. It's like being at a reunion concert for Team of the Holograms. All I gotta say is, one day in the future, there needs to be at least one fanfic of Sweetie Belle singing a duet with Jem. That is all. Thank you. Applejack blinked. Nah, I'll ask later. And thank you, Mike, she said, grinning widely. At least set lunch for me tomorrow, all right? Mike looked down and nodded. Thanks, Applejack. He licked his lips. Apple fritters? He suddenly looked around to McIntosh and followed the stallion's line of sight, all the way to Fluttershy. And maybe talk about those two, he asked, waving in her direction. Applejack snored. She took another swig from her mug and sighed. Yeah, I'll reckon that's a fine idea, Mike. The great fellow away her face. Although, there's something else first, before you leave for Earth tonight. Princess Luna has something to tell Megan. It's not my place to say more, but Megan might need you after. Mike tilted his head back and eyed Applejack out of the corner of his eye. Of course, he said immediately. After the whole party went down? Applejack nodded. By the hole in space, I think. A brown wrinkle. I'll better go check. Excuse me. With that, she pushed her hat back and placed the mug on her head before trying off. Mike watched her leave. He let down his own glad and placed it on the thick black hair. Gingerly let go of it. Whoa! He cried out, moving back and forth. He finally grabbed it once more and took it off. Okay. I'll never try that again. He looked around and his pony stared at him. Okay. I'm a priest, he muttered. I'll have hands. You have an insane sense of balance. Twilight looked Morning Glory over. She, Morning Glory, Megan, and Blazy Day, and Sparkling Dawn went inside the library, away from distractions of the party. Her arm glowed as she shivered. This is... Her face twisted. It's magic, but not only that. She looked to her right, and the two flutter ponies standing there. There's sadness, anger, and every other sort of emotion, twisted and distorted. She closed her eyes and whinnied. I'm not so sure what I could do. Megan, standing to Twilight's left, wrung her chin. Can you, I don't know, layers her inside her head? She took a step back as everyone looked at her, cheeks flushed. Okay, dumb idea. I'm a genius, Twilight said. Her horn glowed, and she stepped forward, right to Morning Glory's lower leg. I'll link you three with her mind. There, you can speak to her sight directly. She held up a foreleg and waved at Morning Glory. Come in close, everyone, and remember good times, happy times. She screwed her eyes shut. Just be careful. Blazy Day's wings beat. How often have you done this? A nervous chuckle escaped Twilight's lips. Never. A pale blue flutter pony stood in the endless white. She cantered back and forth, looking around the infinity, seeing nothing. Blazing Day? Morning Glory shouted. Sparkling Dawn? She increased her speed. Who was pounding against nothing and propelling her forward? She spread her wings and jumped into the ether. Rose Nest! Megan! She stopped in mid-flight and dropped down, landing. She landed on her haunches and sniffed. Alone. Always alone. Morning Glory? All alone. Blazy Day and Sparkling Dawn galloped forward, appearing out of the white. Megan followed, falling behind as husband and son ran to her. They slowed and skidded to the halt as Morning Glory stayed on the horizon. What's going on? Blazy Day shouted. Why can't we save her? Mom! Mom! Look at me! He raised his hind legs and waved himself. Mom! Mommy? Megan caught up. She narrowed her eyes. Why aren't we closer? She stepped forward and looked down at Sparkly Dodd's hooves. Her head shot up as she looked at the stallion in the eyes. Why are we the same height again? She looked herself over at the blue jeans, flannel shirt, and neckerchief now adorning her teen body. And why am I a kid again? Sparkly Dodd glanced at Blazy Day aghast. Blazy Day, you're smaller. Blazy Day gasped and looked back, his wings being, What's going on? He squeaked out, his cheeks red. I don't want to be a fool again. Megan patted herself down. I'll think. This isn't real. She threw her hands up. We're inside Lauren Gloria's mind. She thinks she's all alone. Well, we have to remind her she isn't alone. She balled her hands into a fist and smacked it in the palm of her hand. We have to think. Remember the good times. Blazy Day cocked his head to the side. Like that old story from Earth. He rubbed his chin. Where you clap your hose if you can believe. But Megan hesitated a second. Something. She waved him off. Well, no clapping of hooves. She placed her hand on Sparkling Dawn and Blazy Day closed her eyes. Well, here are the good times. The happy times. Think of more glory of her and you. Blazy Day's eyes screwed shut. Mom, you taught me to fly. You gave me a life. Remember the fields? Flowers? Please. Maureen Glory blinked. There was nothing, and then her son was there. She shot to her host. Blazing Day? Blazing Day! She wrapped her forelegs around his neck, tears streaming down his neck. I thought I was alone. Blazing Day returned the hug. No, Mom. I'm here. Dad and Mom and Megan are here, too. Please, come back to us. Sparkling Dawn bowed his head. We met near the river at the banks. I dove in to get a hat you dropped, and then you dove in and saved me. I was embarrassed, but grateful. Please remember, I proposed to you beneath the sunstone. Queen's Rose thus herself presided over our ceremony. Maureen Glory looked over her son. She sighed. Sparkling Dawn? Here? No, he's not here. She looked around and came snout to snout with him. She shouted and stumbled back, falling to her haunches. Ah! She looked up as he hovered near her. My love? She hopped to all four hooves, mouth agape. Sparkling! Tears burned to the stallion's eyes. I'm here. He held out a foreleg. I've always been here. For you. I'm so sorry about Discord and about what he did to you. Morning Glory bent her foreleg at the elbow, around Sparkling Dawn's outstretched foreleg, pulled herself to her hooves. Her head went back and forth. Her eyes widened. I'm not alone. Megan breathed in and out. Me for the first time. Defeating the witches. Helping you give birth. She looked up. Morning Glory, remember! A sudden shadow fell over the three flare ponies. Morning Glory turned around to find Megan standing there. Megan! She looked her over. You're here too. You look so much younger too. Megan bit her lip. Where in your mind, Morning Glory? She held out her hand and patted Morning Glory on the head, ruffling her mane. We're all here. She pointed past Morning Glory. And the world's out there, my friend. We all miss you. A sigh escaped Morning Glory's lips. I don't know. She closed her eyes. I miss every pony so much, Megan. But what happened to me was so... She stuttered. I hated it so much! I hated Discord, what he did. I wanted to stop him, but I couldn't. Blazy Day and Sparkly Dawn sidled up to her and leaned close. I'm so sorry you went through that, Mom. But please, you had to come back to us. Megan nodded. We can all help you, Morning Glory. But only if you come back with us. Only then can we help you out. Sparkling Dawn nodded. Please, my love. We need you. He lowered his head and rubbed against her neck. We miss you. Morning Glory sucked in a breath. And I miss you. I miss you all. As she spoke, the white brightened. I'm tired, too. So tired. She looked around. You'll be there when I arrive? Sparkly Dot nodded and held up his foreleg. Cross my heart and hope to fly. Stick a cupcake in my eye. He said, crossing his chest and placing a hoof over his closed right eye. The three flare ponies and Megan were now little more than blurs into nothingness. Morning Glory closed her eyes. Then, I think I'll go home. Twilight's eyes shot open. She fell back onto her haunches and her eyes rolled forward. Well, that was draining. She leaned forward, and her gaze fell upon Morning Glory. Her jaw dropped. What the herd? Morning Glory was standing with mouth open as her coat changed from gray to blue. Her wings buzzed as she hopped up, hovering in the air again. She looked around, eyes wide. I had the worst dream, she whispered, then suddenly focused on Megan and lowered her head. It wasn't a dream. Sparkling Dawn stood there for a moment before launching himself at his wife, wrapping his forelegs around her neck and squeezing. He rocked her back and forth, tears flowing as he sniffled. I I never thought I'd see this day. Lazy Dave followed suit. His right foreleg wrapped around the back of Sparkling Dawn's neck, and his left ran around Morning Glory's neck. He shuddered from the pent-up emotion, boiling below the surface. Mom! Mom! Megan stepped forward into Twilight. She knelt down and gave the unicorn a hug. Twilight, you did it! She said, grinning. Twilight blinked. I did? She chuckled. I did it! She broke away from the hug and looked at her reunited family. I'm so glad she's better. The smile fell away as her eyes widened. But she's been ill for so long. Megan looked over. Oh, Twilight, do you have therapists or psychologists in Equestria? This is Pony PFE. There are no. This isn't Pony PFE. Twilight's eyes narrowed. No psychologists, but we have therapists, she said, stomping a hoof against the floor. She cocked her head to the side. Wait, what's a psychologist? There was a silence a moment before Megan waved her hand. Never mind, she muttered. She stood there and turned to the door. I'll get Celestia at Rose desk, she said before exiting the library. Twilight watched her go, then looked back at the family as they hugged. Take your time, she said out loud, an odd peace watching over her. They've got a lot of catching up to do. Skulu, Sleebell, and Dinky wandered around the various tables in between ponies. Most were still there, but some had begun leaving as the day wore on. She looked up and spied Celestia in the sky, flying along with the sun. Wow. Sleebell and Dinky looked up as the princess adjusted the course of her sun, her silhouette almost swallowed by light. She's so beautiful, Sleebell said, eyes sparkling. Dinky walked up to Skulu's side. You sure Apple Bloom is here? Maybe that instructed for her schedule from lessons instead of coming to the party. Skulu glanced at Dinky and raised an eyebrow. Didn't Princess Celestia herself invite every pony to the party? She rubbed her chin with a hoof. I also want to see if Danielle and Michelle are around. There's something I want to ask them. Sleepbell hopped up onto Skulu's back. She held out a foreleg to her head and craned her neck. She wobbled as Skulu stumbled. Keep steady, she suddenly pointed at the edge of the library, right near a large root and close to another tree. There they are! She said, hopping down. Skulu grunted. Ah! Next time, warn me when you do that! She wiggled her shoulders. Okay, let's go! She led the three through the crowd, spilling only a few drinks and knocking over one plate of food before finding their friend. Apple Blue stood next to a brown-coated earth pony stallion with almond-shaped brown eyes. His mane was done up in a queue, long-tied braided ponytail. His cutie mark was a flowing red dragon, and covering up a large portion of his flank. He held up a toned, muscular foreleg and waved it. Focus on what you see, not what you see with, Apple Blue. Otherwise, you might miss all of Celestia's glory. He pointed out the corner of his eyes as the Crusaders approached. And your friends have arrived, I see. I'm going to get... This is probably the first time I'm ever going to do Bruce Lee on this show. I like it. Skulu walked around him, looking at the earth pony over. So, you're Iron Butterfly from Napalm? She asked, arching an eyebrow. She went to Apple Bloom. Is he awesome, like Rainbow Dash? Apple Bloom sputtered, but Iron Butterfly merely chuckled. Ha! Rainbow Dash. She is one of my students in Lan GT Fanxi. He leaned down and eyed the orange Pegasus. Ah, you are Scootaloo. He looked her over. And Sweetie Belle and Dinky Doo as well, I believe. Skittle gasped. How do you know me? Iron Butterfly smirked. Rainbow Dash often talks to you of lessons, young one. She finds you amusing, but enthusiastic as well. He looked at Apple Bloom. Your lessons were short, but well learned. Remember, think, but also feel. Instincts can help, but also hindered if not guided properly. He stood up on his hind host and clapped his forelords together, head bowing down. I shall leave you to your friends, Apple Bloom. Until next week. Apple Bloom stood up and clapped her own host together, bowing her head even lower, bending her neck down. Until next week, Meister. She dropped down to her forelegs as Iron Butterfly towed away, singing to herself, "In the cold of the vida, honey, don't you know that I'm loving you?" She turned to Scootaloo as the Pegasus watched him walk away. What is it? Scootaloo puts her face into Apple Bloom's, growling merrily. Did you hear that? Did you? She hopped into the air, tiny wings keeping her aloft for a few seconds. Rainbow Fast sings something amazing and enthusiastic. She turned around. This is so awesome it goes beyond that. Evelyn backed up slightly. Oh, yeah. She went to Dinky and Sweetbell. Sam, what are you doing here? Sweetbell sidestepped Scootaloo and approached Everbloom. We were wondering if you thought Dinky could join the Crusaders. Her head cocked to the side, her brow wrinkled. Wait, that came out wrong. Evelyn opened her mouth, but stopped. She went to Dinky and shrugged. What you think it means is y'all want Dinky to join the Crusaders? She grinned. Well, of course! She walked up to Dinky and sent it a hoof. Welcome to the Crusaders! Dinky smiled and touched her hoof to Applebloom's proffered hoof, and was taken about by Applebloom's hoof's shake. She bounced out a bit before letting go, her throat like sobbing. Ouch! She looked up. So, I'm a Crusader? Applebloom nodded. If it's all right with Sleebell and Scootaloo, it's all right with me. She looked at Scootaloo, who was still hopping around. Scootaloo! Scootaloo landed on the ground and turned around. Yeah! Lumber Crusader! She reached out over four legs. You know what that means. Sweetbell and Applebloom sidled up to her. Sweetbell motioned to Dinky and pointed to her own side. When Dinky stood there, she leaned close to her ear and whispered to it. Dinky nodded and thrust all four legs into the air. Game on Crusaders recruitment drive! Yay! Scootaloo dropped back down. Okay, not bad for your first cheer, Dinky. She looked around. Now, where are Michelle and Daniel? She suddenly hopped back and Sweetbell approached her. Hey, not this time! Sweetbell waved her off. I already know where they are. She motioned for the three others to come close. Where's the only place we haven't been? She asked. Scootaloo swallowed, and a fine streak of sweat appeared on her brow. You can't be there. Dinky tried away, looking around. She hopped up and tagged a foreleg across the party and to the other side of the library. She does! It's the only place we haven't been. She landed back down and shouted, Near the dragon. Evelyn marched around past thinking, Well, what are we waiting for? She stopped suddenly. What am I saying? Go near that dragon. Scootaloo raced forward, pushing past a few ponies and spilling their food. No, Applebloom! We gotta do this! If Danielle and Michelle go near May Long, we can too! Applebloom walked beside her friend Nod. You're right, Scootaloo! She looked around as Dinky and Sweetbell joined them. We're the Curie Mark Crusaders. We go for our Curie Marks! She paused. Wait, why do you want to see them anyway? Scootaloo explained her plan. The three other Crusaders quickly smiled. Great idea! Scootaloo nodded. Right, Applebloom. There's just one thing, though. What's that? Scootaloo totally over, rolling onto her back. Whoever four legs came to the air. Put me in the wagon and push me there! Crusaders cautiously approached the other side of the library, and the huge head of the serpentine body of May Long. Danielle and Michelle stood in front of her, the former holding a cup of juice and the latter with a plate in her hands. May Long's slitted eyes shifted and stared right at the Crusaders. Ah, more visitors. She held up a paw and waved at them. Come closer, young fillies. Evelyn swallowed. Princess Celestia's your friend, right? And Princess Luna too? She sits silently before trying right beside Michelle, her eyes wide. Wow, you're huge! Sweetbell was by Danielle's side. She gasped as she suddenly was right next to May Long. She held up a hoof and pointed at the multicolored friends lining her cheeks and grinned. I really like your friends, she exclaimed. It's just Jenny! May Long chuckled and brushed against her friend's jiggly head. I polish it with the occasional diamond, young one. Sweetbell rubbed her chin. I might have to tell Sis about that. Daniel looked around as Scootaloo and Dinky walked up. Hi, Skates. What brings you along over here? She went to Dinky. And hi there. You're Dixie's daughter, right? Dinky nodded and extended a hoof. Yeah, nice to meet you. Daniel looked up at the offered hoof. She tentatively reached out and grabbed it, wincing slightly. A sigh escaped the unicorn shook her hoof before letting go. Okay, must by her. Scooter leaned back and stood up on her hind hooves. Danielle? Michelle? I have a very important question for you two. She waited until both turned to her before continuing. Would you two like to become honorary Cuba Crusaders? Danielle blinked. Her mouth almost slightly spoke up. Yes? Her cheeks colored slightly. Well, it's really nice, but we're not getting cutie marks, Lou. Humans don't work that way. Michelle shrugged. We could get the tattoos. Danielle's head whipped around as he glared at the younger sister. I then we make out our last little testament, Michelle. She rolled her eyes and looked at Scootaloo. Was looking up with big, shiny eyes. I suppose so, Scootaloo. Her eyes narrowed, almost closing. Although Teresa happens, out! Evelyn shook her head. We can't guarantee that, Danielle. Milong spoke up. To be invited into a cluster of friends is an honor among dragons, Danielle. I suspect the same is true of ponies and humans. Michelle's head bobbed it down. Yeah, Danielle. She ducked down to one knee. I'd love to be an honorary cutie marker slayer, Scootaloo. Danielle nodded and joined her sister on one knee. Same here, Scootaloo. She held out her hand. Thanks. Scootaloo placed a hoof over Danielle's hand. We are the cutie marker slayers. We can save our cutie marks. Apple Bloom sidled up to Scootaloo and steadied her own hoof. And Lily now started on turn. Michelle stood in position and held out her eye. Now tree I'm crying. She sighed, winking at Danielle, who merely rolled her eyes. Stinky stood next to Apple Bloom, four-legged and Sarah. No book and red! So Belle completed the circle of friends. No path unturned. The Cutie Mark Crusaders all smiled at each other. We are the Cutie Mark Crusaders! Yay! Oh, that is just so sweet.